गुरुभ्यो नमः परमगुरुभ्यो नमः श्रीमद् आनंदतीर्थ भगवत्पादाचार्योभ्यो नमो नमः नारायण परिपूर्ण गुणार्णवाय विश्वोदय स्थितितोलयन्नियति प्रताय ज्ञानप्रताय विबुधासुर सौख्य दुःख सत्कारणाय विददाय नमो नमस्ते यो विप्रलिम्ब विपरीत मति प्रबोधान् वादान् निरस्य कृतवान् भुवि तत्त्ववादं सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपातकं तम् आनन्दतीर्थ मुनिवर्यं नमामि पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे ॐ अथ केनोपनिषदः शान्तिपाठः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विश्विदावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सामवेद शान्तिपाठः ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणचक्षुः श्रोत्रम् अतौ बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणमेस्तु तदात्मानि निरते या उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskaram friends. We had through Shanti Pathas as we have discussed earlier. One is anyway we decide when the Guru, Sishyas and all of us collectively join together to do Upanishad. The second is the Samaveda Shantipata. For all the Upanishad that is part of Samaveda, this has to be recited. And though we have seen the meaning, just for the purpose of recap, this one says the entire Upanishad, Brahman is known from Upanishadam. That what it says is Sarvam Brahmopanishadam. If you want to know Brahman, you will have to go through Upanishad. Basically, irrespective of in Sanatana Dharma to what denomination we belong, there are four cardinal truths which is true for everyone. One is Brahman is the cause of the entire world. He is the primordial superpower. He operates. He is changeless. He is the one who controls, as we have seen Isavasha Upanishad. He is occupying every nook and corner. Even if you want to call Swarga, he is there. If you see Naraka, Naraka also is there. There can't be a Naraka or anything you imagine without the Brahman. So, when Brahman is there, there can't be any Naraka. See, it is all the concept that has been given us to us so that we are being propelled into the knowledge. Sarvam Brahmopanishadam. So, when we have got to the four cardinal truth, one is Brahma, he is changeless, the primordial superpower effulgent, and the second one is all of us are controlled by him. Without his grace, we will not be able to function, operate in this deha, in this world. And we have got the concept of rebirth because this deha, this soul has existed, Atman has existed before, earlier also. It is now here. It will be there ever. The next also it will be there. Therefore, you are existing irrespective of the fact whether you are able to feel it or not. In this deha, deha is the dehi. You are part of Atman has given you the feeling that you are a deha. When we say aham, he is making you to feel aham. That is why he is called aheyam. He is without him you can't operate. Heyam, he is always with you. Therefore you call yourself aheyam. He gives you the feeling that you are there. But the Atman was there earlier, it will also be there. Therefore you do not have any sort of, because you are continuous existence. Only when you feel you are a deha, punarapi maranam, puranapi janaram. If you don't feel you are a deha, you are Atman, the Atma Jnana is through Upanishad. Isavasha Upanishadam, when we start with, everywhere, Isavashyam Idagum Sarvam, the Madhvacharya has taken the meaning from Bhagavad Purana, Atmavashyam Idam Sarvam. That is what the original meaning. The Atma is eternal. It is also eternal, it continues. Therefore, Isavashyam, because he is helping you, he is by your side. He is always enabling you to do that. So this first mantra, since Brahma is, because once we want to know, why we want to know, because the Brahman knowledge, when we want to go into, when you forget that, whatever you have to do in this world and other things are happening, this body you will have to utilize to absorb and accumulate the knowledge in this world, and that knowledge will have to finally accumulate it in your repository called Chitta. See, when you call Chitta, the Chitta is there always. Because of the Chitta only, in this birth, you have done enough work in medicine. Maybe when you take a next birth, even if you are a son of some farmer, you will have an interest in medicine and you will go for that. For that you can't explain a reason how a farmer's son could become a scientist or he become a medicine man. Because the Chitta is there, it has carried forward. So you've got the accumulated knowledge. It is the storage. It is always there. So we will given a proper analogy and explain in the first and second slokas. So therefore when it comes, basically you are trying to know, when I am using this body, once you have the body as a usage for accumulation of the knowledge, the birth is for you to evolve. The God has given you the sort of a source for evolving, help for evolving. He gives everything for that. At the same time, you will have to live in this world. You will have to live in this world as a child, as a young man, as a teenager. You will have to do whatever a teenager has to do, and you can't be different, because after all your body grows, your mind also grows to that extent. Further you come to the middle age, then you get little matured, you don't do what a teenager does, but you do something different with more responsibility. And once you grow old, and you also have further responsibility. But we also have gone through all these stages. But if you want to see, because how was my teenage, you can only see your photograph. But you have already lost it. Though you had lost your teenage, that particular, the status in which, you were bubbling, with the vigor and all, that you are able to recollect and remember with some instances what you did, how you have behaved, and some photographs, if it is there, you can recollect and do it. But it is not with you. Therefore, the status in which we are there, we are old, we may become we are senior citizens, we may become super senior. Once you become a super senior, even the senior status, will be forgotten. You will only go through the photographs and recollect some instances only. Therefore, to see that I am here, that I am with all these things, because already in this birth, whatever changes we have undergone, we are not able to hold it and take it, because we only have it as a memory and remember it, and some recollection only we are able to do it. Therefore, what is important, this is going to change. This body is going to change. Super senior, and if you are going to live further, you may become still older likewise. So therefore, what you have to know is Atma Jnanam. That is going to be permanent. It was there earlier, it was here now, and it is going to be there in future. And it is going to be repository of all the knowledge you are distilled and getting it and accumulate in your storage. So that Atma Jnanam, when you are trying to do, to get this Atma Jnanam to the Atma to operate in this Deha, as well as the Atma to get the final knowledge, the Paramatma is helping us. Paramatma is always, he is the inner controller. Aheyam. He makes you feel your Aham. Asmat, in the sense, Asmat Antaryam. He is there in Antarsyam. And when we do, we have seen what we have done. When we are living in this world, we will have to do karma. There is no other way you can live in this world. You will have to do, when you are studying, you will have to study, you will have to get through the exam, you will have to go for a particular assignment or a profession. You will have to do whatever you have to do. But when you are doing everything, what we are trying is, finally we try to see, because how best we can focus and do it without getting any of the conditionalities attached to that. Certainly it is not possible in this world when you are interacting with a whole lot of people and all. When you are evolving, what happens is, when you are trying to bring yourself into the utter presence, the causation doesn't happen. See, when you go to a doctor, what you do, you only tell the symptoms. I had this ache, I had this temperature, I had this one and that. You only give the effect of it. From the effect, he goes to the cause and find the prognosis and what was the cause for that, and he is trying to give you a medicine for that. The cause is past. It has already happened. But what you are feeling is effect. That only you are telling to him. Likewise, whatever is happening to his effect. The cause is that we have already gone through, and because if you go and find the cause, there is no point in going and fighting the cause. But you will have to see how best to get the redressal of the present situation. When we do all the puja, what is that we are praying for? When we are praying for Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Chaturvida, Phala, Purushartha, Siddhyartha. Dharma is, the whatever good things, whatever ordained, because by your upbringing, by your practices, by the sort of your way of living, what you accumulated, that is Dharma, which you feel that is correct to be done, as commanded by your intuition. And Artha is, because if you become rich, it is not the Prarabdha Karma and all, it is Purushartha. You are able to do. We are talking about, because in some discussions, Ambani and all this comes. But how many people know what is the suffering Ambani has gone through? That senior Ambani, for a decade, he couldn't take proper meal and he was working like a bull in Yemen, sort of a gas station. He has to work like that. And then finally he came. And when he came also, he started off as small. He was nobody. And if you see both the Ambanis, who are now big, and if you see their past story, they were living in a place called Chal. In Bombay, who are used to live, they know what is a chal. It's a common bathroom, common this one room or 2 room, 1.5 room tenement. That's all. That's where they were living. And both these boys, they have to go to school in alternate shift. And they were using the same set of shoes and socks, because that was the state of affairs. They have gone through the entire grind. That is Purushartha. See, because good morning, welcome Amarnath. Just now we have started. So when they have gone through that, see, now they are in a position where they are the richest people in Asia or India or whatever it is. We are not able to get through, see the process of grinding which they have gone through. We see what is the final effect. We have not gone into the cause. Therefore, always you see, what is the current situation in your own. You always live in the utter presence and try to get what is the best knowledge, the Atma knowledge. That is what is the purpose of this life. So to get the Atma knowledge and Brahma knowledge, Sarvam Brahmopanishad. That is what this Shantipata says. To know Atma Jnanam and Brahma Jnanam, you will have to go through Upanishad. So when you go to Upanishadam, when you you will have to give up all these, sort of the cause and effect situation, what is in the world, because how one has become so and so, how has become, because everything has happened. We have got the effect of entire thing. Now we have got nothing more to sort of aspire or look for. We are in a status. Now we will have to see what is that, very purpose. What is the evolution that has to take place in this birth. When you means Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Chaturvida, Phala, Purushartha, Siddhyartham, the moksha is the desire and willingness and ability to know Atma Jnanam and Brahma Jnanam, that is moksha. Nothing. It's not that, you are going to Swarga. See, Atma doesn't have any gender. We may be sort of manifesting as a male or female or Swamijis or others, anything and all. Or we may be, because Brahman or Shudra, this and that and all. Atma doesn't have any of those things. It is free of everything. So when it is free of everything, and once you get Atma Jnanam, when you go to any other concept, what is being taught, Swarga, Naraka, you are free of anything. You don't have anything to look for. Because these are all the things that is being propounded mainly to evince your interest into the evolution in this particular birth. If we are not getting to know and evolve in this birth will be wasted. Once you make an attempt, how you can make an attempt? You have to have the grace of God. By the grace of God only we have all assembled here to know little from the Upanishad. Once you make an attempt, that itself is towards the realization. It is the final bliss. Rest of it will be taken care of. Once you make an attempt, the grace of God is very much essential. Even though you may be well known, you are from a family which all of your forefathers or grandfathers, fathers, everyone may be a great jnanis, you may not still have the grace to get into this. To get into this, you will have to be propelled to come and know about this Atma Jnanam and Brahma Jnanam, Brahmam Sarvopanishadam, because to get this, you need the grace of the God. The grace of the God is essential, that wherever we have seen in Ramayana, also everywhere, finally it is this. Because whatever you do, finally it can't. For instance, in most of you are having this Gita classes also. The verse number 20 in the first chapter, Arjuna Vishada Yoga, that is called Arjuna's depression. Arjuna was, actually he was not depression. He is depression only towards the end of the chapter and beginning of the next chapter, second chapter. In the 20th sloka, he will tell, Shenor Bayor Madhye Ratam Stapaya Achyuta. He asked Krishna to take the entire this point in between both the senas. If you see the reason, when he asked for that, till then, he has not asked. He has lived with Krishna. He has been interacting with Krishna all through Mahabharata. Right from his young age, he is a favorite of Krishna. He has married Subhadra. They are all so close. And Krishna was always ready to give the knowledge. But there was no occasion for him so that, he again evinced any interest in knowing the knowledge. The grace, he didn't get it. But when that situation came, he asked Krishna to take the entire Ratha in between both the senas. And Krishna had an option. He could have taken the Ratha in front of Duryodhana. If he had gone in front of Duryodhana, he would have got, look, because certainly I will have to take revenge. I know what you have done. Certainly he would not have any doubt. Krishna purposely took him in front of Bhishmacharya and Dronacharya. Because they are all because great, the Pitamahas and great Gurus. When he went there, he got perplexed. How am I to, because then he got, because they are my Gurus, he is my great-grandfather, Pitamaha, and all others are my relative sons, and why should I fight and all. The same would not have happened had he taken him to the Duryodhana, in front of Duryodhana or any of them. He would have, because Krishna wanted to give a grace to him at this point of time, so that he is able to impart the greatest knowledge of Gita to him, through him, to the entire mankind. Though he was there in the Mahabharata all along, why he has to come to the 10th day of the Mahabharata Yuddha? And because finally, because it beginning, the 10th day, they recite the entire Gita. But this has all happened in the first day itself. Only when he takes the Ratha in front of the Bhishma, the entire requirement, the sort of thirst to know the knowledge came to Arjuna. He was perplexed. Then he asked questions. Only by asking the questions and the Guru Sishya can enlighten. This is exactly in Kenopanishad also. When it has happened in Gita, a situation has been created. Here, the Sishya has gone through the entire worldly experience. The entire worldly experience is like, the Arjuna Vishada Yoga, it is a human Vishada Yoga. We have also got, we found, it is no meaning in so many things, which we have longed for, which we have got for, and which we are looking for. Nothing has got, then, we think. Because this is when you really want to know the knowledge, the evolve. When you evolve this gets into your chitta. You get more evolved. In this birth, whatever you are going, it is going to be accumulated. It's not going to be lost. You are going to be more enlightened soul. This is exactly the reason why Upanishad, Vedanta has to be taken to get the Atma Jnanam and Brahma Jnanam. This is the final sort of evolution of a being when you are living in this world. That's what we are coming into this particular. And same thing, Srimad Acharya, because the Madhvacharya, when he has taken, because last week I narrated the story of how Gautama has given the sapa and the entire Vedic knowledge was lost from the world. In order to get the knowledge back to the world, Sadashiva, he was very worried. Unless, the Vedic knowledge is there, people will not know what is Dharma and all. So then he goes to Brahma, because Brahma is one always going to the recital of Veda, Upanishad, and continuously, he is from Nabi of Vishnu, and he has been doing it. So when that is there, This is where, because the Acharya says, Vaijayante. Vaijayante is the place where Brahma is there. The place where Brahma resides is called Vaijayante. Vaijayante samasitam ekante chaturatma. The Chaturmukha Brahma was alone sitting there and all. He was only duty is to give the knowledge to all the beings, because the world has been created. The God has created the entire world. Brahma, Prajapati, everything and all. He has created the Brahmanda. And then he has created the Pindanda. Pindanda is all the jivas like this, Thavara, Jangamas and everything and all. In that also the Almighty is, the effulgent Almighty is there to help us, and He is there as a controller in all of us. So when it is there, I think, why he is always reciting this, but when the knowledge goes and reaches, they got evolved souls. When they get evolved souls, in the yuga, they get finally what the purpose of creating a yuga. The human beings will have to understand their own evolution, their own experiences. They will have to reach the pinnacle of their supreme wisdom. That is what it is. When they do or when they don't do, that is why then avatara takes place. When the adharma goes beyond dharma, when adharma and dharma is equal, he will not come. So adharma has to go up. That's why in Kali Yuga, they say it is good, because when adharma goes up, then only some avatara may come in any form. He may come and take it, and he will give us the knowledge. Finally, this evolution of the entire yuga will take place. So this is the purpose. This is, of course, it is yuga after yuga. That is the process of the effulgent soul. They are doing it. When they are doing it, Sadashiva asks him, what is that? Because the primordial power, how this Vedic knowledge can be imparted. That is how it is there. And here, as we have seen, the enlightened Sishyas like Arjuna, who has gone through the entire world, who have gone through the entire experiences of the world, having known the world has got whatever has to offer, you have got the knowledge. Finally, you will have to know the Atma Jnana and Brahma Jnana, which is going to be the final knowledge. You are going to know. In this process, he is asking the very first question to his Guru. His Guru is he also enlightened, but he is also waiting for Sishya to ask the question. The one thing when he is asking the question, that he has realized the world has got nothing to offer. Because whatever it has to offer, you have gone through and you have got it, and you know what it is, and what is its meaning, and what is its relevance. Now you come to know Sarvam Brahmopanishadam, you will have to get to final evolution, you will have to come to this. At this point of time, we recited this sloka. I am just reciting it and we will go into the meaning of this. Om Keneshitam Patati Preshitam Manaha Kena Prana Pratama Praiti Yuktaha Keneshitam Vachamidam Vadanti Satchut Sotram Kaudevo Yunakti. He is asking Guru, I think some mic, request, the mic to be muted. Some voice is coming, I think if you can mute, I think it's good. I think we will not have any disturbance in it. Keneshitam Patati Preshitam Manaha. So the meaning of Om, because Keneshitam, Ishitam, will. By whose will the mana is doing its function. Because when the mind, it goes towards desired objects also, undesired objects also. It doesn't always goes to the desired objects. If it goes only to the desired objects and you get satisfied with it, but it also goes to the undesired objects, then it creates further cause and effect, it goes on doing it and all. That shows that as a Atman, our control over the mind is not that much. Then who is that controlling this mind? This is exactly he wants to know. The Patacheta, we will go word by word. Kena, by whom? Ishitam, who is wishing? Who is at behest? Whose behest this mind is acting? Patati, lands upon, falls, all proceeds towards object desired, good, bad or undesired. It goes to everything. The mana is like, because we say Manamoru Kurangu in Tamil. It goes anywhere. It is not in your control. If it is in your control, you would be not what you are, and the world will not be what it is. So therefore, the control over the mind by the person per se, or the jiva or the Atman per se, is almost not there. Then who is controlling this mind? Preshitam, who is, because prompting it, directing it towards all those things. Preshitam manaha, the mind, the inner organ, the jnana shakti, knowing faculty. The desire is Ichha Shakti. Manaha Jnana Shakti. Because it wants to know about everything. It goes wherever it sees. You see some magazine, and if there is some article, if you go to the Playboy, it will show the article, and Mana will go there. Whereas you go and read Shakespeare, and you will go into that, some literary thing will be coming there. So it depends upon what comes in your mana and what you are doing it at that point of time. It immediately wants to know. You go to Google. Google has got a habit of taking you to irrelevant sites or remotely related site. Once you go into the Google, I think you will always find, because it's the best example of mana has been proven, physically by this Google. You want to know the meaning of a particular word, or you want to know a particular subject. You go and search for it. It will tell something unrelated. You will take some interest in that and you will go there. Finally, after an hour, you would not have got what you wanted. You would have been taken by this algorithm built in the Google to all unrelated things, and you are not able to get what exactly you want. That means it's not in your control. That is why, they say in the computer lingo, I think it's misdirection. See, any search is a misdirection. First you will have to be misdirected. Then only, finally after that, okay, tomorrow I will see. Very often, the first search to get what you want in plenitude, all the information, it is very rare. Unless you are very controlled and you go to, because unless you go for a Lancet magazine or, the research magazine, Nature, these are all the ones publishing the research reports. You go there, you will get it, because it takes you there, rightly you go and refer and come back. But if you want to know some generic thing, it will take you to all sorts of things. Finally, you would not have got what you wanted. This is the experience. This mana is like that. And it is what mana is doing. Google has replicated that. They know, because by doing that only their search logs will improve, their advertisement revenue will improve, because that is the model they have built in. And they are rightly so. And they know what is the human psychology. See, because all these websites are built not by text alone. It is built by the parapsychologist and psychologist. And by seeing your searches are being logged in, analyzed. Every night, almost about 20 to 25 people, various parts of the world analyze what is the search, people are going for what they will be interested, and all those things, is being taken. That is how, because you cannot otherwise survive. Google can't survive simply giving whatever information you want. You will get the information. What is that you are going to offer back to Google? Nothing. He has to earn his revenue. He has done. The mana is like that. It is a very, very, such a creature. It is never under control. And then it is, the next one is, Kena Pranama Pratama. Pranama, Kena Pranaha Pratamaha. The first breath, when the child is born, unless you hear the cry of the child, we will all be eagerly looking for that. Assuming the child is yet to start crying, what the doctor said, Urdhva Moolam, they hold it upside down and cold water they splash it. Then they get a jerk and it cries. That's why in Kabirdas Doha, Jab hum paida hue, hum roye jag hase. Because when you were born, you were crying. He said philosophically, you were crying that you will have to face the entire world. But others were all happy. Like us, he is going to join, one more creature is going to join us, he will also going to experience the world. Philosophically, Kabirdas said, great, there are great souls. They could say likewise, because the Pratama Pranaha. The Pratama Pranaha, another one is here. Kena Prana Pratama Praiti Yuktaha. Praiti is Gachati, the Prati Gachati. The Prana is coming and going, inhaling and exhaling. Once that first prana is commenced in the delivery room, it continues, it doesn't stop till such time it has to experience the world and get all the experiences and accumulate all the knowledge. It has to evolve itself to its true potential. It goes on, Prathama Prana. And then it is also called Yuktaha, it is a Mukhya Prana. See, prana is so important with that only, because in Brihadaranya Upanishad, there is a story understandable to human being. See, if human being, always, if you go to South Madras, what is your mark? 28. The Next door neighbor has got 35. Why you have got 28? Or if you are 95, you're 28 and all, no one talks about. 99, 98 and 100, that's all. He got, likewise, you always compare. And in our understanding, Brihadaranya Upanishad, they do it. They, even though it is time immemorial, they know the fellows will be talking like that. To make them understand, let them talk in their own language. So they said, all the indriyas, the eye, ear, mouth, and your hand, everything, they were all fighting. Who is superior? So like they're looking for the children who stand first, you are always first, everything and all like that. And then they made a deal. We will be away from the body for 1 year. Let us see what happens. So let us see, because how the body, mouth let it go off, and nose let it go off, ear let it go off, body was functioning, of course, with deficiency, because differently abled, what we call it. Disability was there, differently abled, they were functioning. But when prana left, the entire thing was dead. So that is why he is called Mukhya Prana. The Mukhya Prana is without, he is the primordial power. That is how in Dvaita they call it Vayu Jivotama, Hari Sarvotama. He is the one who is as a controller and he is inside you and he is guiding you, he is always with you. Vayu Jivotama, without that the entire body will not function. And he is also responsible for, when you prana, what you mean? You mean prana, apana, vyana, samana, all those things. When you are doing, after parishinchami, when you are doing it, prana, apana, samana, all those things, vyana, because your digestion has to be clear and your excretion has to be clear. Because you take all the inputs, if there is no output, the body will suffer. And likewise, your all these parisas, it all comes from prana. Prana gives you, that nerve centers are energized. Ida, Pingala and Sushmana Nadi is energized. You are going to, you get the feel, whether you have temperature or whether you are okay, whether you are having a cool climb of a hill in Bangalore, all those things you feel because of that prana is there. So therefore it is Mukhya Prana, he has got all the function. That is why when we take the Parishinchami, we request prana, give me all those faculties, function to its full potential, so that I get the nutrition. That is our sort of, because our karma, we will have to do, our ordained duty, we will have to do. It is our own puja to us, we will have to do. Because whatever you are doing, you will have to do. Even when you take the food, take it and eat it. It is God's power which enables you to hold your fingers and take the rice and put it in your mouth. Assuming in some cases, if you are not able to hold the finger, someone has to feed you with the spoon. That is the power. He is with you always. Therefore you need His grace. You always request for that. You do that. So when that is there, you look for His grace and you do that. Whatever you are doing is enabling you to do. To take your food also is enabling you to do. To learn something is also is enabling you to do. Excel in something also is enabling you to do. He is the Shakti within you. He is creating you the power to excel. So once you focus, and when you are in the utter present and trying to focus, He is invariably there to help you and make you excel. You take it for granted. If you don't go into the cause and effect situation, you focus on something what you are doing without bothering, you will definitely do. But if you are going to bother, look, if I do this puja only, I will go to Swarga. If I don't do it, I will go to Naraka. I may not get Swarga and all. Nothing. These are all the concepts which is given you to propel your interest, to evince your interest. These are all kindergarten. But now you are in, it's like a pyramid. Down the line you will have a lot of students. Once they come to the graduation, they are less. Post-graduation less. Doctorate still less. Post-doctorate still less. The finally one who are authority on the subject, they are far too little. So when we are evolving, it is like a pyramid. We will have to go from the bottom, and when we are evolving, finally when we are going to that, the rest of the things doesn't matter. Because whether Swarga, Naraka, Puja, or if I am going to do and all, even if you get wealth, what is that wealth? For doing wealth, at Balzac, one French writer has said, behind every fortune there is a crime. The crime in the sense, dharma is what? Dharma is without causing any hindrance to others, you are able to do your duty in this world. When you are able to do your duty, there are certain duties you will have to do, certain duties you will have to serve your parents, you will have to serve your family, you will have to give proper education to your children and all. They are all ordained duty. You can't claim it is something extraordinary. No one will give a Padma Bhushan because you educated your children. It is damn well you do it. Everyone does it. The thing is, they are all duty. When that bhava you do it, it is doing. But when you are doing in a business, there are dharmic businesses also there. Because like Tatas, even though they also have in the business, relatively they are trying to keep everything, because above board. They don't go beyond, the rules, whatever has been framed. They follow whatever rules and they have got ethics. These are all things you can do. And there is no harm. And at the same time, you will have to do whatever profession. If the general of army, the chief of staff, he has to have the Rajas Guna. He can't be a Satvika talking, because I will only, he may be having a Upanishadic knowledge. But then when he is performing the duty, he has to be in the utter presence. He has to do what is in the front. He has to take this decision. It enables you to, like Arjuna also, when he was taken, he was feeling, because that he will be killing his great-grandfather, Pitamaha, his guru and all. What does it mean? That is Papa. Whereas he may not have any problem in killing someone else's great-grandfather, someone else's guru. That means, once you have a self attached to anything, that becomes the problem. Once you take out the self out, once you have the same affinity, concern to others' children also, like you are having your own children, like others' family also as you are having your own family, without any sort of affection or disaffection, dispassion, that is fun. When you are totally into bliss, that is in fact moksha, jivan mukta. Once you have it, you have got the moksha in this birth living, and living like anyone else in this world. That is what it is. This is exactly, this particular, and keneshitam vachamimam madanti. Whatever I speak, when I speak, what I am speaking, there are three things will have to have. First, the words will have to come. The words should have some meaning for others to understand that. And it should have the base of knowledge. And I should also have the linguistic profile. My tongue will have to cooperate to tell that word. The others should be able to understand. And that is why you are able to do it. When it comes, when you are able to get it in your mind and heart and through your ear, then it becomes a full-fledged communication. Supposing, if you don't like, because assuming in the house itself, something which you are not interested in, because assuming in our house, there will be some complaint. Look, you have been only bothering about yourself. There is no water. Last week, why don't you go and tell the committee? Because this is normal, when you are in a community, go and fight. They ask you to go and go and fight and all. But you can't do it because it's a committee. There are people who are living. You will have to see everyone's problem. It is a common issue. So even if you are a president of a committee, I was also president of a committee. But I got more complaints from my house than when anyone else. You are a president, you are not able to still do this. So it is like this, because once you have to a dispassion, you cannot give in to something like that. So then that is dharma. Once you have it dharma, when you are able to follow, despite the pressures all around living in this world, that gives you the real propulsion for this. And keneshitam, this vacha patanti, Satchusotram. What the eye sees. Eyes is able to see the color and form, and you are able to immediately, something you like it, something you don't like it. I think in a teenage, you would have liked some very, very good looking figure and all those things. And someone else may also be good, but somehow your mind will not go at all. But then you will think, that one. It goes to what happens when you see it, it goes to your mana. Your mana process it and it gives it to intellect. And the intellect says, yes, it is right, because you must have read somewhere in the magazine, or you must have read, some astrologer would have told you, this is how it is there and all. You get into all sort of externalities. They connect you to that, and finally the intellect process it and do it. So this eye has got no function. The eye doesn't have any function because it only sees and reflects it. It just sends the signal to that. It is the mind processing. Even the form and color is finally processed by the mind. And supposing, depending upon the quality of the eye, it will be defective or less defective. If you are full-fledged eye, or you have got your eye operated well enough, then you get the full-fledged. So it is not that, because who is operating this sakshu? Who is making it to look into desired and undesired object? So you always go to see the temple, and when you have to go and see to the temple, when you go to the Tirupati, you are just able to see there, only for a few seconds. And sometimes, if you try to close the eyes, even that you will not be able to see. That's why they say, please keep your eye open. So you have it, once you have it, you absorb and put it in your heart, and then you reflect upon, Shravana. Then at the moment, Balaji is in, then that also you can't see. It's hardly a second they give it to you, and you can't see Jargandi, and you will have to come with. So this is what Sakshu also, because someone is operating Sakshu. At that point of time, they give you the right sense, then you are able to see that. Shrotram. What you are hearing also like that. Once you get into Shrotram, because likewise, they have not enlisting all other organs. Likewise, all other organs, leg, knee, everything and all. So knee, when you were young, we could go fast and walk like sort of Richard Burton or someone and all. Now Vivian Richards, we can walk. Now with the knee problem, when you can't walk a few steps into the house, when you want to go for a walk, you just make all the preparations and go for that. So then at that point of time, when your operation is limited by the physical, at the same time, when you are able, it is not in your control. You wanted to go somewhere, some interest is there, you go there. There is a cinema is there in a movie hall, you will go there, what may and all. Or somewhere else, you got something else will be there. When the ability is there, you do that. And it's also not in your control. You don't plan it. And again, the problem with us is, every day morning to evening, we will plan something to do. But we are not able to do any of the things because our indriyas are not in our control. Today, if you see, if you make someone says you have a diary and do, if you do diary and all, the sure shot for failure. Nothing happens as you have noted down and planned in your diary. If you people do say, they are the sort of, they have got the control, they are the one evolved Atmas. Once you are able to, even day-to-day operations, when you are able to know nothing is in your control, who is that one's control? This is exactly, he is asking, you tell me Devo, there is some Devo who is the power. He is not the terrestrial. He is the transcendental. Some power is operating. Who is that power? You let me know. He is asking Guru. Sadashiva is asking Brahma also, because these people have to get the knowledge. Because they are all frittering away through their senses. How to give them the knowledge? This is what exactly they are working on that. This particular sloka, it is particularly the Raghavendra Swami, he has written a Kandartha for this. He is given a beautiful explanations for all these things. He says, the mind is an organ of perception, so must be under the control of someone. If it is not under the control of someone, it will not be able to do it function as desired. The human soul is not the director of the mind. That is determined. We ourselves have seen, because it is never, we are not able to do that. Because we see the humans can't control the mind, the one who is controlling, he is a Paramatma. That Paramatma could be Narayana, because I have expounded. Na tavad jivena nigrhanatopi vishayan pratipatavan. He is that one. Similarly, the controller of all the indriyas, they are all one after the other. Ishitam isham, pratama sarva jivotama prana. He is also not in our control, because prana also needs the controller. He is controlling the entire functions of the organs, and he is giving the pratama prana, who is in a first pratama prana, and the prana is also under the controller of someone. He is not independent, but he is the Vayu Jivottama. For Jiva, he is Uttama. But subsequently, it is Hari Sarvottama. He is the one who is operating him also. He is also under, not independent, but he is one who has to be directed by someone. The direction is finally by the primordial power. So when the primordial power, why, because the student wants to know, if the primordial power is this one, how am I able to realize him? Because whatever, this entire Upanishad, the greatest thing is, like, as we said in Brihadaranya Upanishad, they have tried to show the Mukhya Prana, how he is important, by the Indriyas fighting amongst themselves. Who is the superior? Finally, they have agreed that Mukhya Prana is superior. Without him, the body can't function. Likewise, when you have to impart the sort of knowledge of the Almighty, the supreme effulgent power, you will have to go by the known terminologies to explain the unknown terminologies. Assuming if I say the God is the eternal, infinite, and he is beyond everything and all these are okay. But for me, understand, yes, you will accept it to the extent, okay, it is something which is we are not able to see. This gentleman is telling, let us accept it. Then he comes to once he has asked the question, the Guru has to explain. Guru is trying to find how to explain it. Now he is fully understood. He has not anything to do with the world. He has gone through the world like Arjuna Vishada Yoga. He has seen everything in the world. World has got nothing to offer. He has finally come to evolve in this. So he is very much prepared to grasp the knowledge. He can be made understood. When he is asking who are all these powers behind all these indriyas, Mukhya Prana and all, how it has to do, that Guru says let him trying to explain him in the way he can understand. That is the master. The mastery of Upanishad is Upanishad never trying to give you something in which is when it says you don't know means you don't know and you know means you know. Everything they say, because they are bringing into the realm of your experience, your understanding and trying to explain that. Coming to this, the Guru now answers, this is the second sloka, Shrotrasya Shrotra. Shrotra is ear. Shrotrasya Shrotram. Shrotra, what if you the ear, what you will show? We will show this pinna, which is there, this goleya, they say, in Sanskrit. That is the ear. But it's not the ear. Inside the ear, there is a tympan, that there is a small drum is there, which is catching that signal and all. It then gives to the nerves, that is ear nerves, there is a small hub of nerves are there. They are trying to carry that signal to the mind. The mind processes it and gives it to the intellect. The intellect, based upon your repository of language knowledge, linguistic knowledge, and as well as the subjective knowledge what you have, it tries to process and gives it to you. It is a process. So this ear itself is not a shrotra. But the one because of which the ear is able to get and give you the knowledge, that power is the shrotra. Shrotrasya shrotra. See, for instance, manaso manoyat, that same thing. The manas, mind is not in our control. Someone is directing the mind. The mind is also under control of someone. That primordial power. How it is that? Manaso manoyat. Because of him, the mana is able to realize, the mind is able to realize and get the information and process. He is the power. So for instance, to give an analogy, let us take all of you must be sort of participating in these discussions through your laptop or a mobile phone or a tablet. In the tablet, what you got? You got the screen. The screen is display and you also got a camera through which I am able to see you because your figure is being taken in. Then what it does, it is not able to do it. It is only Sakshu. Sakshu, who is operating this? It sends it to the processor. So you got a motherboard. The motherboard has got a processor. The processor has got a input-output control. There is a processor for that. Even that is not sufficient. Even if you have a processor, that's not sufficient. You will have to have the software. If you are having Apple, you will have to have iOS. If you are having Windows, it is Windows 7 or Windows 10, latest, whatever it is there, that has to be there. That software will have to be there. The first, what you will be taking, the signal will be taken by the processor, input-output processor, and sends it to the software. The software decodes and then sends it back to the input-output mechanism of the processor, and from there the voice is coming and you are able to listen. Likewise, when you are using the keyboard also, same mechanism. It's all, because we are not able to see, we are transparent to that. We are not transparent to that. You only keyboard and it appears. But before it appears in the display, the signal is being taken into the processor processes it, and through the software, because the software guides, because how it has to be displayed, in what language it is, whether Unix or Java, Python or whatever it is, so many other languages are there, it displays to them. It takes all the processes. The same thing happens in our case also. There is a processor, we don't know the processor, and there is a software. He has given your chitta. Your chitta is the software you carry it all over. And now, because in this world, whatever you are acquiring, the linguistic capabilities, what you understood, they are all in the chittas. Then they are able to decode and tell the whole thing. Likewise, when you are hearing, the eardrum gets the vibration. Same thing, when you are talking, your vibrations are taken in by the mic and given it to the input-output processor. Through the software, it gets it back to the input-output system, and then it is being transmitted. The entire thing takes place. The body is like that only. So what these Indriyas is, Chakshu is like a camera in your laptop, and the ear is like your speaker in your laptop. The mouth is, when you are speaking it, whatever you are speaking it, the processor processes and gets the vibration and signal. It is like that. And with artificial intelligence, the entire mechanism is able to operate like your hand and legs. All the automation which has taken place because now with this COVID around, automation is going to have jump, leaps and bounds. You will feel most of the factories are going to have automation if it is 20%, it will be 70, 80, 90% in times to come. Only few controllers only will be operated by the human beings, rest of them will not be there. So they are able to create everything. So our human body, the right analogy is the laptop and other things. But what it lacks, supposing if you quench your thirst, then you feel you got it quenched. That qualia, that feeling it lacks. The intuition, even you may hear everything, finally your intuition will ask you to do something. You may listen to all the acharyas, this one, finally I will have to do my own meditation or my own upasana this way. That is your intuition. When you finally go to the intuition, that gives the Paramatma, who is indweller, he guides you to the right. If you use the intellect, you can do everything with the knowledge you have acquired and organized and everything. That will help you only to some extent. When the reason is there and it works, it will work fine. When everything happens as per the reason, look, I did this, I know this has happened, this happens. When the reason fails, then you will know. Then everyone will tell you, why don't you do this parihara? Why don't you do Satyanarayan puja? When the reason fails, faith begins. And who is guiding that reason, faith, everything and all? Intuition. The intuition is the final repository. So what does the scientists say? Because today also, I don't know whether you have read the news and all, they say they have found one more small component in your throat. Day before yesterday it has come, yesterday it has been published. They have found one more organ with certain glands and other things. Even though we are supposed to be masters of our anatomy, still we are looking into and finding something is finding that. They say, what is the function, they are trying to locate. With that, you may be able to cure a lot of inabilities. And even the COVID also, because they say, they will be able to find a way out for that. But that still we are discovering, because the knowledge is not complete. He is the only one who is having the knowledge. He is having the knowledge of antariksha, everything and all. The intellect will guide you only to a certain extent. When the reason fails, the faith begins. And people say, I don't blindly have any faith and all. If the faith is not blind, it can't be faith. Why because the reason has not worked. But when the intuition guides you into the faith, it guides you because it knows your repository of chitta, your experiences. You know this is good for you. This will really take you further into your evolution process. That is why it is. This finally when you get the intuition, and what you will do when you get the intuition, when you know which are all correct, which are all not required, when you are able to create, because all this shrotrasya shrotram, Manaso manoyat, vachoha vacham, savu pranasya pranaha. Who is operating? He was mukhya prana. Behind him also someone. Savu, the who is? Saeva, sakshur atimuchya dhiraha. Atimuchya dhiraha, pretyasmal lokad amrita bhavanti. This is what the sloka says. The last two lines need a very, very great explanation. We will see that. As far as this is concerned, all these indriyas, with the analogy of the laptop and the computer what we have got everything like this only, but the computer lack the intuition. They can't have any faith or anything like that. If the power goes up, it goes up. The power is the Brahman. Without power, we will not be able to. The processor is there, and he is giving the Mukhya Prana, the operating system. Because of that, the indriyas are able to function. And when these things function, then you are able to do it, and all these are continuously taking place. Therefore, to have, because all these indriyas only enablers. Once you understood, finally what? The body is an enabler. Enabler to acquire a knowledge and go into your inward journey, evolve Sarvam Upanishadam, Sarva Upanishadam. Only from Upanishadam you are getting the Brahma knowledge, Sarva Brahma Upanishadam. You are able to get that knowledge of Brahma only through this and evolve. When you evolve, when you have a dissipation, this Atimucha Diraha, we will explain next week. The one, once you understand, these are all only instruments, and finally, what you are finally going to have and have it in your repository, you will not be bothered about anything, whether what is happening, because this body is there, and because we are going to learn and we are going to use the body as long as it is with us. So we are not going to stop at that, we are going to fully evolve and effulge ourselves into this. This is what exactly this particular second sloka says. And the second sloka needs sort of little more explanation, mainly because this is a very important sloka. Here some sort of what the God is like and how we can try to understand what the Godhead or the concept of God, how we can sort of try to sort of align ourselves into this knowledge to have a complete dispassion at any point of time. Sthita prajna, that you will not be affected by, in the sense you will be living in this world, you will not be agitated, you will not be taken aback, you will not be startled, you will also not have exhilarating overjoy, everything you will be samadukka saha, everything, your sukha dukkha, everything is samana. When you have that, that is moksha. There is no sarga, there is no naraka, no apsaras will come and accost you in their embellished and all. Because Atma doesn't have any sort of, you are not a male, you are not a masculine, you are not feminine, you are not napumsaka, you are not Brahmin, you are not Shudra, you are not this, you are not a Westerner, you are not a sort of a New Zealander, everything and all, everything vanishes into that. Then you are going into pristine pure knowledge of that. This is what the Upanishad wants to tell you, and they want to do is, especially Kenopanishadam. They say, Dayananda Saraswati, who is 2 years before he passed away, he very nicely used to say, the Kenopanishadam, once you know, once you understand, if at all you have any doubts, you read Kenopanishadam, whether you think, you feel your doubt is removed or not, forget about it. Your doubt is deemed to have been removed. That means you are fully resplendent, effulgent. You are going to be all the more blissful and you are evolved soul, which is the desired in this birth. With this, I think, I will just stop at this for this session, and I will look forward to a lot of interactions, especially question and answers, so that all of us can collectively, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, right, correct, correct, correct. That is wonderful question, sir. Actually, I will just quote one instance here. We all know there was a Quit India movement. Mahatma Gandhi, 1942, he said Quit India movement. It was a very sort of ticklish period of time. The Second World War has commenced. All of us will have to work with the government because they were of course fighting evil forces, and we will have to be with them. At the same time, we will have to get our independence. At the same time, we also have the cleavage here. There should be a separate longing for the Muslim state and a separate longing for the other state. So he propounded the theory called Quit India movement. It is like a shot in the blind. When he made it, it is a shot in the blind. His own colleagues were dead opposite to that idea. What is this Quit India movement? And now if I say, the government will say, you guys are trying to sort of, give problem to the government, whereas government is, the entire British Empire is working, to get the world saved from the evil forces, and Axis, they are part of the Axis and all, and you are doing this. And their own people also, what is this? If they quit, what will happen? There will be chaos. They want separate state and you want separate state and people are not still united. What is it going to happen? He did only one thing. See, it is for the benefit of everyone. If you want, we can discuss one after the other. He himself was not sure how this movement will go on. He said then he just keep on reveling on that. One to one he was discussing. Finally he said, without affecting any of the current situation or processes, we are going to do only with ahimsa way, because you should give us the self-governance. See, what the British has strategically done is they have given a self-governance to a lot of states. If you remember, there are a lot of state governments formed in Tamil Nadu, because the entire presidency of Chennai, Madras, which is part of Karnataka, Andhra and Tamil Nadu, they had a government headed by Indians. They were doing it, but they had a limited leeway to do that. All that they could do is, they could do some tax laws and everything, and perhaps they can look after the administration and other thing. They can send the report. Finally, it was the central government which was doing the entire thing. It was doing that. But as days progressed, we stood by that, because he said, my focus is, my faith was there. It's a blind faith. But the blind faith he built with the reason. He created sort of, the lot of people, this not only his intuition, the other intuitions also started falling in line with him. The collective intuition of the entire, this force of the leaders at that point of time, they brought forth the Quit India movement. Afterwards only we had a discussion in London. We were asked for a discussion. Gandhi went, because we know he went with only bad. He had a faith in that. The thing is, when you are having an intuition, you have to adhere to your things. Certainly, I will go only by what we say, what my conscience says. That is intuition. See, I know certain cases. In the organization also, I know I would be asked to do something. When you are in a senior position, this happens. They ask you to do this one. And you wonder, what to do, because you will have to do that. So then how do you do it? You will have to collectively think, and you will have to find a way out. And that is intuition. And it gives you a way out to you. Intuition will be given. Let me share one personal example. You see, way back in, we are all in the public sector. In the public sector, the masters are the ministry. The ministry are the secretaries, the additional secretaries and the joint secretaries. There was one particular issue. The government has formulated a policy, and the policy was challenged by, because I was in the oil industry at the time. It was like allocation of the retail sort of sales, it's a retail unit to someone. There was a lot of rules, a lot of guidelines and all those. Someone challenged that, and it went up to Supreme Court, and all top lawyers of today, they argued that case. All top lawyers. And finally, Supreme Court, they set aside the government policy, suspended temporarily, and then they also asked, because finally you will have to, through mediation, you will have to get this. The ministry people were, because sitting with anger, you guys have not handled, because they will not take any responsibility. When you don't take responsibility and when you exercise authority, that is government and that is the ministry. They don't have any responsibility. Even whoever is the top man to down, they can advise you. Bayo, Behno and all those things they say. But they will not take any responsibility, because we have all accepted that. It is a way of life. So what to do? And then finally when Supreme Court Chief Justice was appointed as the arbitrator for mediation, he gave a judgment. He gave a judgment not in favor of the government. So because see, after all, even if you are a Supreme Court Justice, you can't side with the government. You have to see what the facts of the case and what is the legal position. They did it. And then finally we were all called. What is this? This has happened. So myself and one of my directors, we used to be we used to work so together. When you work as a team, you can always withstand anything. We had an intuition what to do. So this has happened somewhere in Andhra Pradesh. The Andhra Pradesh where it was happened was one senior manager who was responsible for that, and they said, I wanted to take action, the government has lost the face, this and that, and all. The policy was wrong, which they are not willing to accept that. They said, what to do, you'll have to manage both. So what we did, we had, that only we call Departmental Promotional Commission, DPC, we used to have a meeting. So he's a very deserving chap. He's one of the excellent chap, who is, cannot, you have to look up to him. You can't be denied anything of his what he deserves. Finally, we shifted him from there to up north somewhere else, and we told the ministry, sir, usko idhar se uta ke udhar fek diya. That's what we told ministry. Ministry was very happy, but we gave him a promotion. That we didn't tell. You see, what happens, because you will have to satisfy both, and this is only intuition. If I go only by rule books, if I go by all these things, we can't do that. And these fellows were happy, what they wanted to hear, we were told them. What we have to do, we have done. This only can be guided by intuition. It cannot be guided by intellect. It cannot be guided by any rule books on the day-to-day affairs of the world. This can happen to anyone. See, this has happened to a lot of people. See, for instance, I don't know, in Mahaparivals, a lot of stories there. There was one justice, my namesake, when N.S.Ramachandran was there. He was the justice of the Madras High Court. He used to go every week to see Mahaparival in Kanchipuram, have his darshan, be with him. On Friday evening he will go, and Sunday night, he will leave and attend the court on Monday. One day when he was about to leave, normally Parival never does it. He comes every week, let him go. When he was about to leave, he never told him directly, asked one of his people to tell him, you tell him he should not go today. This man got worried, and he is justice in the High Court. Next day, he has got so many things to do. And normally you have to take the permission of the Chief Justice. If anything is there and all, then only you will have to do. He was wondering what to do, and he has come in between. Why don't I come to Kanchipuram this week? I shall come next week and all. Then he can't break the words of this Mahaparival also. So he stayed back. So he then finally, to assuage him, tell him, ask him tomorrow morning 10 o'clock he can go, and our this Matt has got a car. I have arranged a car, he can take that car and go. That night what had happened, there was one Tuticorin Express long before. The very famous accident called Ariyalur accident, for which Lal Bahadur Shastri, being the railway minister, immediately tendered resignation. The unforgettable accident, not because of the size or the damage, it is because of how ethics has been upheld at every level. That because he was to board that train, he would have gone in that. And Mahaparival had an intuition to save him. He said, divine, he saved him. This is where intuition. Where intuition you can't explain. It is a mystical. It comes in you because of your Upasana. You have done the evolution. Your final evolution comes to that. So therefore, you cannot, intuition you can develop only by developing faith and always listening to your conscience. And then always not go by, what the reason tells or intellect tells. You will have to do normal course. When there is a jam, lag jam, then you will have to look up to the intuition. By doing that only we can develop. There is no other way. But intuition definitely will guide you at the right time. It will never leave you. There is no occasion intuition has left anyone to their peril. It is always come to their rescue. And that is the basic faith, Upasana. And when you see, because you should understand that all these indriyas are only means. They are all like this cameras and mics and speakers only. The rest is finally inside you, and you will have to go into this internal check. This is exactly the mind of it. These two occasions came to my mind, and this particular accident was so famous in those days. It used to be published in all over newspapers, news and other things. This is what it is, sir. If any other queries also we can discuss. Padmanabhan sir, Prabhu sir, Krishnan sir, Amarnath. I think then with this, with your permission, we can go for the Shantipata of this week. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadidamastu Ma Vishvidavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Krishnapnamastu. Wish you all a very, very happy Navaratri and Saraswati Puja. I think already you have done the Puja, Ravana, everything and all. Let us hope Saraswati guides us further into this Upanishad. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you to everyone. Very, very happy Dasara indeed.